Welcome, everybody, to this session. My name is Isaac Levin. I'm a Director of Product Management at AWS. I'm responsible for our Greater China regions. I'm really happy to actually be here today because I actually started my career in the Bay Area, working here about a very long time ago now, 22 years. And then I actually took an opportunity and moved to China. I stayed there for 11 years. And then I joined AWS in China and then came back. So very happy to be here today. I'm also joined by another guest speaker, James from Palo Alto. And he will be actually, towards the end of the presentation, giving you his experience landing Palo Altos in China. And so before I get started as well, I also wanted to introduce, we have two business development managers, Rosa and Simon, and they are the folks that are based here in the States. Rosa's in Bay Area, Simon's on the East Coast, that can help customers or help you bring your applications or your workloads to China. All right, before I get started talking, there's actually a short presentation, a short video that I will just kind of let everybody see.
A day in modern China starts with digital, starts on cloud. Your home is connected through cloud. You wash clothes, do sports, protect your home on cloud. Your travel is guarded by cloud, and your destination is ready for you on cloud. Healthcare is revamped by cloud, protecting you and your family. China is transforming into a digital country. Our digital life and work are rooted in cloud. It's everywhere. Boundless and limitless China with cloud. Let's extend your success with Amazon Web Services in China.
Okay, thanks. There's actually three parts to my presentation. So the first part, we're going to talk about a big background about China, and then AWS, us in China, and then I'll talk a bit about some of our customer cases, and then we'll move on and talk about the ISVs in a bit more detail. So, first of all, China, I mean, you all know it. It's, for the past 30 years, it's been consistently growing the fastest in the world in GDP. And really, it's the size and the scale of China has really allowed it to really kind of grow that fast and actually really innovate. And, just as an example, there of the scale of China, there's 18 cities in China that are over 10 million people in population. The US probably has maybe close to one in New York, but there's 18 in China. And just Eastern China, if you just take one part of China, the GDP of Eastern China, around Shanghai, we call it the Yangtze River Delta area, that's the size of GDP of Germany. And so that size and scale really gives rise to a number of kind of unique things about China. And number one, it's one of the most connected countries in the world. It has the largest mobile user base, about 900 million users. It has the largest 5G base station installations at 1.3 million. Its mobile payments are triple that of the United States. And about 50% of the global e-commerce transactions are actually in China. The other thing about China, it's also kind of leading in a number of different areas in technology. So in IoT, it really leads by manufacturing, shipment, and installed IoT edge devices in the world. And it's also a leader in AI and IoT. And the other unique thing about China is really it's a unique digital ecosystem. And you've probably heard some of these names. Like in e-commerce, there's Taobao, there's JD, and now there's a recent one, PDD. In social media, there's TikTok, there's WeChat. In on-demand services, there's Didi, there's Meituan. And then in other areas, such as in finance, there's Binance, recently the largest crypto exchange in the world. And also in kind of devices and smartphones, Xiaomi is also it's the second largest in the world. So it's a very unique kind of digital ecosystem. For multinational cloud, the other part here, if we look at cloud, it's actually the second largest cloud market in the world. And if you look at IDC and their forecast, it's growing 32% compound annual growth from 2020 to 2025 versus the rest of the world, which is growing 22% year over year. So it's a big market and it's growing fast. And there's actually a lot of headroom because if you look at the percent of IT spend on cloud, it's only at 2.7%. So there's lots of opportunity for companies that want to enter the market in China. And multinationals, of course, they have been recognizing this opportunity for decades and really kind of investing in China and expanding and innovating now locally. About 80% of the Fortune 500 non-Chinese companies are in China. And for companies like BMW, for companies like Kering, which is a luxury brand, a French luxury brand manufacturer, China brand manufacturers like Gucci, and you probably heard of Gucci and Yves Saint Laurent, so they're a luxury brand manufacturer. China is their largest market. For companies such as McDonald's, for Siemens, for GE, China is their second largest market. And as China is continuing to open up and to grow and open up their economy, there'll be just more opportunities. So kind of recently, oil and gas has opened up to foreign ownership. Auto industry has opened up to foreign ownership. Financial services is another one, which has opened up, and a lot of financial companies are moving into China. And last one, in healthcare and life sciences, China has started to allow global clinical trial data for new drug approvals. And so they're just, as China kind of opens up more and more, there'll be just more opportunities for companies to go to China. But of course, there's also a lot of challenges in China and going into China. One is really that competitive landscape. And the competitive landscape really is a fierce competitive landscape with a lot of local players who are oftentimes very nimble and quickly adapt to the local changing needs. For example, if we take an example of Starbucks, they open a store about every 15 hours in China and about 11 per week. Luckin Coffee, which is one of their competitors, they've opened 525 stores in 9 months. And they have an app which you can use to basically order coffee, and it's delivered it can be delivered to you in 5 minutes. And so that has forced multinationals, in the case Starbucks, to really innovate and adapt quickly to some of the changing needs. And companies that have really been successful, companies such as Coca-Cola, such as KFC, such as Volkswagen, have really been able to be successful by adapting to the local needs and introducing kind of local products or features for the market. And the other part is the unique digital ecosystem in China has also kind of allowed multinationals, have really kind of enabled multinationals to kind of innovate and do things differently in China. So for example, Nike, its app has workouts for housebound consumers during the pandemic. And automakers, they've started to use these live streaming platforms like TikTok and like WeChat to promote their automobiles and reach out and engage their customers. And the other part, which I'll actually talk about in more detail, and I actually do talk to a lot of companies about, is really the regulatory landscape and the changing regulatory and the evolving regulatory landscape. So a bit now about AWS in China, and we'll talk a little bit about this. We started our journey almost 10 years ago in China, and in 2013, we announced our first investment into China. And in 2014, we launched our first region in China, the Beijing region. At that time, it only had one availability zone, something we wouldn't probably do now, but at that time we did one availability zone. And we added the second availability zone in 2015. We formally launched in 2016 our Beijing region. That was followed by, in 2017, our second region in China, Ningxia region. And then in 2019, we launched our third region in China, which was in Hong Kong. And of course, we've also continually invested in our infrastructure in China. But not only in our infrastructure in China, we have actually invested in the talent in China and building up kind of our labs in China that will really service our global audience. So in 2018, we actually launched our AI lab, and that's really focused on MXNet and the open source MXNet, and contributing to that open source community with the talent in China. And then we opened in 2019 our IoT lab, and in Shenzhen and in Taipei, and that really is working with the local IoT manufacturers to certify their IoT devices on AWS for use globally. The other thing we've been doing in China is not just building our infrastructure or exporting kind of the using, leveraging the talent there, but we've also been investing in education. And even back in 2013 when we first started, we've been training thousands of college students in China through awesome days, going to colleges around China and training them on cloud, letting them learn about AWS. And recently, we've launched in this AI in the Future, which is really extending that to the K through 12, in the K through 12 education. The other thing we've done is renewable energy and sustainability. Ningxia itself was built really with sustainability in mind and using a lot of renewable energy, and we've also invested in other parts of China with renewable energy. So to operate cloud in China, you actually need local partners. And so in China, we have two local partners. One on the right, Scinet, which is a public company based in Beijing and publicly traded in Shenzhen. NWCD, which is based in Ningxia, and it's a private company. And these two operators offer our services to customers in China. And we'll go a bit about the model in detail a little bit later. The value proposition we have for our AWS in China is really kind of these 5 things. First of all, our unmatched kind of breadth and depth of services. And really, I want to emphasize in China, really our depth of our services that we offer our customers. The second is, of course, we have a global infrastructure. And we have the global best practices, which we bring to China. The other thing here is we are fully compliant with Chinese regulations. And we have our compliance and security best practices and experience bringing multinationals and global companies into China. And of course, we have also a very big, large partner community. And the other value add, I think these other two, really for local companies is the one Amazon, we bring a one Amazon mindset. So if companies want to cooperate in China with different parts of Amazon, that's good, or even globally. And the other one is our culture of innovation, which I've spent time talking to Chinese companies that come in through to visit in Seattle, and they are really excited to hear about how Amazon innovates. So it's really kind of a good value proposition for local companies. So for global companies, I think there's kind of there's three key things. One is we have one team. So we work together as one team across wherever you're headquartered, and our China team, we work together as one team. The second one is it's a consistent platform. So the technology is the same globally. So in China, it's the same platform. Yet the endpoints are different because it's in China, but globally, it's the same technology. And then the third one, of course, we have a lot of experience around, it's fully compliant, and we have a lot of experience of bringing customers to China. And so a lot of that, some heavy lifting on the platform is really done for our customers, and then our customers just have to kind of work on the security and compliance of their applications. So just a little bit more onto the business model and just another layer of detail. We have 2 regions in China. They're fully 3 AZ regions. Beijing operated by Scinet and Ningxia operated by NWCD. We have, so our operators, they operate and provide the service. And so what does that mean for the customers? So you come in to our China site, it's separated from the rest of the global infrastructure. So you have to have a China-specific account. You come in and you register for an account. It's just one registration and you get access to both regions. The console looks exactly the same. It has a drop-down for 2 regions once you register, for Beijing and for Ningxia. And then as you use the services and you get your bill from AWS, it's actually from these two partners, depending on which regions that you use. And we provide our guidance and expertise to make sure our partners operate the cloud to the same SLAs as we would globally. And we have just on our services, all our core services, so compute, storage, database, container, analytics, AI, ML, IoT, we have all our core services that are available in China. And we're actually accelerating our services and feature availability in China. And you can see we launched 500 new features in 2021. And you see pretty consistent actually throughout the year. We've launched new features and new services. And even some of our latest features and services, such as Graviton 2, i3EN, Inf1 for influence, we've launched these in China and fast following from some of our global launches. The other thing, aside from services, that I actually get a lot of questions about is certifications. And so we have all the major global certifications in China, the ISO certifications, the TSAX, which is a European certification, SOC 1 and 2 certification, PCI certification. So we have all the key certifications. And if you operate in China, you'll know that the bottom right two certifications are actually pretty important. So Trusted Cloud and the multi-level, what is the DJCP, which is the multi-level protection scheme. And we have that certified to level 3 in China as well, which is very key to being able to host critical workloads. We also have our partner network in China, and we have a full range of partners, from our global partners to local partners in China across many different domains. And you can see here from consulting to technology to systems integration. We've actually, over the past 5 years, grown our partner network by 8x in China. So very comprehensive, no matter where you are in China, and no matter which region or industry, there are just thousands of partners that can help you along with your journey. And these are some of our customers in China. I kind of flip really fast, but you can see kind of the full range of global customers. And I'll just kind of go into a couple of different industries and really zoom in on ISV, since we're here in the Bay Area, but a couple of different industries and really talk about them in a little more detail. So China is the #1 auto manufacturer in the world, is manufacturing location in the world. Out of about 78 million cars produced globally, there's 20 million of them in China. And also, China's been at the forefront of some of the new energy vehicle investments. It's actually the largest market for new energy vehicles. Last year, it sold 3.5 million, grew 1.6x. And really, this has brought a lot of innovation in the auto industry, and a lot of innovation around connected car, autonomous vehicles, subscription, ride subscription, electrification. It's really brought a lot of innovation. And with that potential is actually, there are a lot of homegrown players as well, such as you might have heard of these, NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, even Xiaomi and Baidu, some of the bigger internet players are getting into the auto market. And this is kind of forcing the multinationals really to increase their investments in China to actually keep up. So for example, Volkswagen announced a 2.1 billion euro investment into electric car companies in China. And BMW, it has its largest R&D outside of Germany, actually in China, with 1,100 engineers and 400 developers. And it announced it will launch an exclusive model, electric vehicle model for the Chinese market. And so behind some of this multinationals investments in auto in China is data. And the data for these multinationals is very important because you want to have a consistent platform, a consistent data platform in China, globally, but yet you need to comply with the regulations. And so just 3 examples here of some of our customers. So in 2020, we announced the strategic cooperation globally with BMW. And what they're trying to do is really bring its data, the data from across their business units and over 100 countries where they operate into a common platform on AWS. And it's called a data asset management platform, which they call the Cloud Data Hub, and really bring it together and allow customers and internal and external customers to use that data hub and use it to develop kind of the next generation of innovative applications. And so they're using us in China, and the key value there is really we're allowing them to have a consistent technology experience and develop a platform where you can keep the data in China and comply with the regulations. And similarly in Toyota, they have also developed their data lake, Toyota Connected, on AWS inside of China. And it's the same platform they use worldwide. They kickstarted the project in multiple regions globally. Their project in China actually launched 2 months earlier. It took them 5 months from zero to actually launching their platform in China. And so kind of pioneering for Toyota actually globally. And finally, Porsche. Porsche is unique because China is the largest market for Porsche. And the average age of a Porsche buyer in China is 35 years old. But the rest of the world, it's 50. So really, they've had to adapt digitally in China, and adapt really for the digital environment in China. And so in 2020, they launched the Taycan, and at the same time, they also brought the My Porsche app and localized it into China, and offering that experience to their customer base. The other industry I'll talk about is manufacturing. And China is the number one manufacturer in the world. It has been for a very, very long time. It's also moving from kind of a kind of more simple and low-tech manufacturing now to a very high-tech and innovation-based manufacturing. And that's kind of along with China's plan from 2021 to 2025. And so just an example, and this is also enabling also multinationals to actually follow and kind of innovate as well inside of China. And so for example, Schneider Electric, we'll talk about a little bit later, the next slide, but it's the second largest market for Schneider. And for Honeywell, they have offices in 30 cities and employing over 13,000 people. Siemens has 4,600 R&D personnel in China and 21 R&D hubs. And so that transformation, I think multinationals and local companies in China are kind of helping with China's manufacturing transformation. And so the next example is really, is Schneider. And I actually kind of looked at this slide, and this is their hub, their manufacturing plant in Wuhan. And I looked at this slide, and kind of the blue and yellow kind of stood out for me. But anyway, they have 23 plants and 7 distribution centers inside of in China. And their Wuhan plant is really recognized by the World Economic Forum as one of the innovative and lighthouse locations where Schneider is innovating in smart manufacturing techniques. And they selected us and our partner Thundersoft to really utilize us in a quality inspection solution. And so what happens is as products go through the assembly line, the images are captured and automated and automatically inspected. And so through that solution, we've been able to reduce the invalid fault detection rate to 0.5% of total output and a 0 miss on a defect rate. And now of course they selected us because we have a common platform. And so they're rolling this out to all their plants in China and also looking to roll this out globally as well. Next, retail. So China has a very unique digital retail ecosystem. And really it's because a lot of what we talked about, e-commerce, the mobile payments, and really lately this phenomenon around video streaming and short videos and social media. And so it's evolved into what we call social commerce. And China's been really leading the social commerce globally. Last year, the market was 363 billion. It's triple what it was in in 2018. And a lot of that is really driven by these sub-apps or mini apps, like a WeChat mini app or apps inside of Tmall. And so brands, multinational brands such as P&G, Nike, Uniqlo, Adidas, they've had to adapt and have to reconsider how they price and how they market and which channels they use to reach their customer base in China. And so this is an example with Adidas. And so China is one of the strategic markets for Adidas. And they have made kind of going online in China an important C-suite objective. And so we've supported Adidas to roll out the next generation e-commerce platform in China and using kind of WeChat mini apps and also their own platform to reach out to customers. The other thing we've also done is work with them to replicate some of their existing cloud management capabilities and their basic platform into China, and then allow their local teams to really innovate and build up kind of the China-specific features and functions. So healthcare is another area which is changing rapidly in China. There are about 4,000 pharmaceutical players in China, and although it's kind of fragmented, multinationals like Novartis, Novo Nordisk, AstraZeneca, they have about 8 to 10% market share. And it's really China's transformation is transforming a lot in this area. I think one of the reasons is its aging population, but it's really transforming a lot around new drug discovery and clinical approvals. And I do talk with a lot of healthcare and life sciences customers, and they are looking at how to do kind of two things here. One is bring some of their platforms into China and really leverage some of that clinical trial data that's actually in China and actually help them benefit in their drug research globally. And China, of course, has strict regulations in this requirement about clinical and trial data. And we'll talk about some more of these regulations later. But then so complying to these regulations is a key part of it. It's a key part of that. And so one of our customers, it's not on this slide, but one of our customers, Thermo Fisher, they've been in China. They have R&D center in Shanghai, and they've been able to use our services such as IoT, EKS, personalize and forecast to really improve their business operations in China. They've built a B2B commerce site and rolled that out in China. Prior, they used agents and dealers, but we've been able to help them with that and improve and streamline their operations and their e-commerce in China. So now a little bit more about ISVs here, and I'll go a little bit in depth about ISVs. I think you guys all know that enterprise software vendors are now all moving to SaaS if they haven't moved already. So I'll just kind of skip that. But SaaS in China. SaaS in China is actually growing very fast. It grew last year at 39% year over year. One of the reasons for that is really some of the funding and support from the government around new infrastructure. So supporting companies to innovate and to digitalize. And so you can see the funding there. And the other part about SaaS is there's two distinct markets in China for SaaS applications. One is the multinationals, and the multinationals in China wanting that same SaaS application, that same platform inside of China, and that's driving a lot of SaaS companies to come into China. And the other one is really that kind of medium business, a small medium business in China, where they don't have the investment needed to invest in their own IT and their own hardware. And there are about 40 million small and medium companies in China. And so that's another big audience for SaaS applications. The other part that we see also is as kind of our cloud is maturing in China, there is additional opportunities for providers that are building on top of cloud platforms like AWS. So for example, cloud security now has really been, and you'll hear from Palo Alto, but cloud security has become at the forefront for a lot of companies in China. And the cloud security market itself is $3 billion and growing very fast. And so that's kind of in China. And And us, I will just kind of speak to a few different things I didn't touch on about kind of our value for SaaS companies in China. One is our network. And so we work with all the carriers in China, all the 3 big carriers in China, and are within China and outside of China. We optimize our routing with the 3 carriers, and we have connection points in Asia, in Europe, and in the United States with our carriers, with the 3 carriers. We also facilitate customers that want to go and transfer data cross-border with these carriers. The other thing we have is we make it easy for customers to migrate. Not only is it a consistent platform, but we make it easy to migrate, either through the tools we offer to bring your AMIs or to bring your installation over, or through our third parties and our partners. The other one is we have our local support in China. We actually have thousands of employees located across 27 cities in China. So from our business development managers to our solution architects to our customer support, through our TAM organization, through our professional services to help SaaS companies in China. And we also, of course, we have people based inside of, in the US, in other countries to help in Europe and Asia, to help our customers in their headquarters actually plan their deployments inside of China. And so now kind of 2 slides, which I end up talking a lot about with companies about entering into China. And so the first thing you need to understand is kind of the regulations are very different. And so these are kind of the 4 key ones that to just highlight some of the licensing and the regulations. These are 4 key ones. And the first one here is ICP filing. So ICP stands for Internet Content Provider. So anytime you want to serve up a website, serve up content in China, you need what's called an ICP filing. And our partners, of course, facilitate that process. Our 2 operators in China facilitate that process. The second one is if you want to have a commercial transaction online, if you want to run a commerce site, or if you want to kind of have transactions online, you need what's called an ICP license. And depending on the industry you're in, these are you'll need a local partner because some of these are not open to foreign companies. And if you want to operate, if your product or your application is classified as cloud service, you need what's called, like us, you'll need what's called an IRC license, Internet Resource Collaboration License. And that, of course, is only open to local companies, so you'll need to find a partner. And then the third here is really a security certification, which is MLPS. And so if you sell to companies that are classified as critical information infrastructure, then you will need to have this kind of certification as well. And of course, we are certified to level 3, and so a lot of multinationals use that certification to get their own certification as well. And then kind of 3 laws as you're going through evaluating going into China. There's really 3 key laws. First one is the cybersecurity law, and that was enacted in 2017, and that served as the framework for a lot of actually these other laws that came into China. And within the cybersecurity law, the most important pieces here for kind of global companies to be aware of is this cross-border data transfer. And so it really is stipulating that you need a security assessment to be able to transfer certain sensitive data across borders. And so, that assessment was further kind of detailed in 2021. And the other 2 regulations, the data security law and the personal information protection law, these were enacted last year, and these kind of provide further detail about how to the requirements around storing data, around transferring data, and also how to handle PII, personally identifiable information. And basically they're saying for personally identifiable information, defining what it is, and saying really that for a lot of that information, you cannot take it outside of China. And so I end up actually talking to a lot of multinationals about these laws and about some of the ways that they can use if they want to actually be compliant in that regard. And so how can we help along this kind of journey for ISVs to enter China? And there are kind of 4 steps we can take. And I kind of think about it in 2 different levels in these 4 steps. So 4 steps are assessing whether you want to go to China. And you're assessing on 2 different levels, which is, and for all of these, which is the business level and the technical level. And so in the business level, kind of assessing that China opportunity, is it worth kind of the ROI and the investment you need, return you're looking for. The second one is the technology assessment, the platform, how are you going to bring it into China. And then the second one is actually landing in China. So from a business landing perspective, how are you going to land, set up your business in China? And from a technical perspective, how do you bring that platform in? And once you've landed in China, working with either your partners or us, which optimizing that environment and optimizing kind of the business processes. And we'll talk a bit about business expansion in a second. In us and our partners, we can help throughout the process. We have different teams that you can see on the slide to help. We also have a lot of partners, multinational partners, local partners that can help throughout this landing process, and it can actually help you and be your landing partner inside of China. And so growing your business in China we offer different programs. So we offer go-to-market support and joint campaigns and joint account planning, and we can help you with some of our industry expertise. We also have a number of different global programs, which I think you can find in other sessions here in these next 2 days. And the other one is we have programs specifically in China. For example, our GISV landing program. We help our partners with POC, with credits to land their application and do proof of concepts in China. And then lastly, we have Marketplace, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. And of course, we have an actual example here. A Marketplace, of course, if you're not aware, it's our portal where we can really allow a catalog, a curated catalog for application where customers can deploy, select, deploy, and manage third-party applications that have been certified on AWS, and simplifies really kind of the software procurement and licensing process. So we have a Marketplace in China. It's a completely separate, like the China region, and it's a separate portal from the rest of the Marketplace. NWCD, our operator Ningxia, operates the China Marketplace. And we have right now more than 260 listings from over 100 plus partners. We have free AMIs, the machine images. We also have bring your own license, support bring your own license images. And also we've recently launched a SaaS feature last year. I will just kind of show a slide here, which is, here are all, and we have, I think there's probably, if your ISV is not even on a Marketplace, we probably have over hundreds of ISVs that are actually inside of China using AWS in China. And today I'm just happy to actually introduce Palo Alto, who's actually going to talk a little bit more, James, and talk a little bit about more their experience in China. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So James Beasley, I'm the Vice President of Cloud Engagement for AWS. And AWS, I only have one slide, so this will be easy. I'll bore you with my conversation, not with a slide. So we're a top security partner with AWS, and we've experienced extraordinary growth due to that partnership. Part of that partnership is the success is because we understand the shared security model, and we deliver to customers the security they need in the cloud. It's pretty straightforward. The working premise for our product group is to always integrate with AWS services. So Security Hub, GuardDuty, if you're familiar with their security services, Palo Alto integrates with all of them, and we leverage that experience. As I said, as a result, we've had extraordinary growth. I wish I could share the numbers, but we're too close to quarter end, so it's really, really good. So it was only natural when our customers, and again, we're like AWS, we're customer obsessed. customer focused. So as our customers expanded into the China regions, and these were global MNCs, we naturally followed them to there, and AWS made it a seamless venture. For the reasons Isaac pointed out, they helped us with the assessments, they helped us with the landings, and it was a seamless experience for our customers. And our customers, because of this, our customers include CPGs, manufacturing, and other ISVs. Some of the names would be easily recognized: ERP leaders, database leaders, who have expanded their operations in China to serve their customers and have naturally used Palo Alto's Prisma Cloud security portfolio to secure their workloads in AWS. We look forward to the continued growth with AWS in China. And they're actively, so Isaac mentioned it, they're actively helping us recruit customers in China region who are adopting us. So we have a few of the China entertainment companies that are running Prisma Cloud in AWS. And they're also helping us as we cultivate, and through events like this, cultivate customers who are contemplating their expansion into Asia. So for that, we thank them. That's pretty much it.
Thanks. And thanks, James. And I think we're going to have a few minutes left here. I have a few more slides, and then we might have a few minutes left here, and we can open it up for questions. So just some resources if you want to get started inside of China. The website to get started for AWS in China is actually a separate website from our global site. It's the first one, and so if you want to go there and you want to open an account, you can go to that website. We have some more information in our global site called AWS China Gateway, and you can get more information about landing in China there. And of course, in our China site, we have more details about the services that we offer in China. And so this is the last slide that I have for the session. I wanted to kind of take the time here to maybe answer a few questions, either for James or for myself, since we have we have a couple minutes here. Any questions that people have? I'm kind of. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we have one here and then one there. Yeah.
So we're an ISV, it's startup ISV, and my question, maybe I direct it to you, since you're an ISV too, is how did you go about developing the process and business case to open up in China? Because it's as much of a product investment to get certified and everything else as it is the go-to-market investment. We don't have any problem on the demand side. We're doing so much exciting stuff with AWS right now. The challenge we face is how do we move up the ability to operate in China on our product roadmap. So that's kind of where we are as an ISV. So I'm just
Right.
wondering if you have some insights to share.
Can I, before I answer, can I ask who?
Yeah, we're not competitors.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Aerospike. Oh, okay. I know Aerospike. Yes. So the punt answer, the easy answer, was just following the customers there. The MNCs they had to expand because their business was expanding in China. We needed to follow them there. So that was one case. I'm actually, if we want to get into some detail, we run Prisma Cloud there, which is our cloud security. We have Prisma Access, which is our SaaS, one of our SASE portfolios. I'm actually writing the business case now for that, because it's a little bit of, yes, there's a strong enough customer demand based on our current customers wanting to expand into the China region, but it's also, and AWS is helping us research the market there. What is the demand for this product? And if you work with AWS, you know the type of answers you'll get, but you'll get some detail on the level of potential growth there, so you can kind of do high confidence, low confidence demand gen calculations and figure out whether or not it's worth the expansion.
Yeah, I just maybe add on to that, because those exact same conversations you probably have internally as we also have internally as well. Like all our service teams, they want to work on kind of the next feature, the next thing, and going to China, it might slow them down a little bit, and so it's really that number one, the customers and the opportunity and demand, but also in some cases where it's really not kind of customer apparent. It's really taken like our executive visibility and our executives saying, we got to do this. If we don't do this, we're never going to be there in China. And so for a particular feature or for a service. So that's also what it's taken, that kind of executive kind of mindset and commitment that we want to be there and be there for the long term. Yeah. Yeah, we had one over there and then we have one more.
Yeah, I'd like to know a little bit more about the data security in China versus the US. I specifically, if the data generated in China is supposed to stay there, right? But if there's a communication between both places cross-border, so which part of the data let's say if I use AWS in here, and assume I have to register other account in China, right? So if the data is communicated, so how are we going to solve the problem? Will the data remain?
Yeah, I'll kind of answer it. I don't know if James, you want to add on.
My answer is built on yours, so I'll let you answer first. There's a DLP aspect of it, so maybe I'll answer it real quick.
Okay.
So if we identify China data, if that's the user sets that up, so they say the DLP rules, we would not, if it was a Prisma Cloud customer, we would not let that data transfer out. That would be our limit. But I think more of the question too, Isaac, is the PIL in China versus
Yeah. So our infrastructure is completely separate. So we don't, of course, facilitate that kind of data transfer, and you would need to work with kind of carriers to facilitate data transfer. As far as what types of data that you're allowed to transfer or not allowed to transfer, it's really working. And I really my first kind of guidance to customers is work with the legal guidance and the legal teams. But in general, if it's identifiable information about a person or individual in China, that's got to stay inside of China. And so there are ways you can do to do that. I mean, you can anonymize that data, right? Or you can keep it in China, analyze it in China, and kind of see how you want to handle the results. You can anonymize it. So there are various different kind of ways, but the best thing is really to get kind of legal advice and also kind of work with our China teams as well. Yeah. Two different.
There's a firewall. Unlike now I have an account in the US, I can set my data running in England, for example.
Yeah.
So it's so transparent. I mean, that's why I want to.
Yeah.
But I cannot do the same thing in China.
Yeah, it's completely mainland China. But the other option for customers is maybe a first step is to go to Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is connected to the rest of the network, the global Amazon network. So companies decide, well, maybe I'll go to Hong Kong first, and I'll use I'll go with the carriers and get kind of faster connection into Hong Kong through the carrier to China through the carriers, and maybe that's enough.
How about Taiwan? Can I go directly to Taiwan right now?
Taiwan, we don't have infrastructure right now in Taiwan. It's an IoT lab. It's not a region. It's a lab. So if you have like an IoT device you wanted to get certified, you can bring it to the lab in Taipei and they'll certify it for you. Yeah. It depends what type of data. So the short answer is it depends. And so, but if that data is data that can identify an individual, it's like their address, their cell phone, I mean, this is where kind of you have to talk to your legal department because if they consent to it, is it okay? That part I really don't know. And really you need kind of the legal experts there to help you out. Yeah.
Back there.
So the question is, what's the benefit of locating your app in China versus? Yeah, so really, if you want that low latency experience and the best customer experience, you really have to put the app inside of China. And the reason for that is there's kind of twofold reason for that. One is there's just the traffic in and out of China gets very congested a lot. And so more often than not, it's congested going in and out of China. And so that increases the latency. And then the second of all, sometimes it's not too deterministic about, how the traffic gets in and out of China. So that's probably the primary kind of reason to have that. And of course, the second one is if you want to comply with the local regulations, of course, you have to have it in China. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're kind of, maybe one more.
We answered them all.
Okay, all right.
Right,
Well,
thank
thank you. Thank you.